Welcome to the Numbers Live page. And now, pagpatuloy natin yung part 2 ng ating Civil Service Examination topic. At ngayon, pag-uusapan natin yung Intermediate Algebra. So ito, we are now focusing on more variables compared sa first topic natin, which is the Basic Algebra. Okay, so question number 1, we have a simplified expression 4 raised to x plus 2 raised to 2x over 2 raised to x. So these are the possible answers. Letter A, we have 6. Letter B, 2 plus 2 raised to x. Letter C, 2 times 2 raised to x. And letter D, we have 2 raised to x plus 1. So how are we going to solve this expression? So yung una kong ginawa dito is I did rewrite the expression na kung saan yung numerator natin is 4 raised to x plus 2 raised to 2x. Then our denominator is 2 raised to x. Next thing that I did is sineperate ko yung 4 raised to x at saka yung 2 raised to 2x with the same denominator, which is 2 raised to x. Okay, so hiniwalay ko. We have ito 4 raised to x over 2 raised to x, then plus 2 raised to 2x over 2 raised to x. So this equation is also the same as this term or expression. Okay? So next thing to do is I cannot operate. Okay? So hindi tayo pwedeng dumiretso gamit yung loss of exponent because we have different bases. Ito. So pwede ito, pero yung case ni 4 raised to x over 2 raised to x, they have different bases. Na kung saan yung base ng ating numerator is 4, while the base of our denominator is 2. So, anong gagawin natin doon? Kailangan nating ipapareho. Okay? Kailangan nating gawing pareho yung bases ng numerator and also the denominator. So, alam natin that 4 is also the same as 2 raised to 2, right? Since 2 raised to 2 is also the same as 2 times 2, or that is equal to 4. So, pareho lang siya. So, i-rewrite natin yung 4 into 2 raised to 2 times x. Okay? Kasi may exponent pa tayong x. So, this one is also the same as 4 raised to x. Copy yung over 2x plus copy din natin yung pangalawang expression natin, which is 2 raised to 2x over 2x. We can now proceed to the loss of exponent. Okay? So, quotient tayo dito. Since the operation is quotient, mag-divide tayo ng exponential term. Yung gagawin natin dito is copy the common base and subtract the exponent. Again, yung rule dito, i-copy yung common base, then isa-subtract yung exponent. So, we have the common base of this first expression is 2. So, copy natin yung 2. Yung gagawin natin sa exponent is subtract. That is 2x minus x. Kaya naging ganito siya. Plus, same din yung process dito sa kabila. Copy the common base, which is 2. Then, subtract the exponent, which is 2x minus x. Okay, so we can now subtract the exponent. Simplify natin. 2x minus x is equal to x. Ganun din yung case ni 2x minus x, that is also equivalent to x. So here, meron tayong common term, which is 2 raised to x or 2. So we have dalawang 2 raised to x. So that means it is also the same as 2 times 2 raised to x. Since again, multiplication is a repeated addition. Kung meron tayong dalawang 2 raised to x, that is also the same as 2 times 2 raised to x. Then, simplify natin. Pagdating naman sa product, okay, when multiplying exponential term, yung gagawin natin is copy the common base and add the exponent. So in this case, yung common base natin is 2. Then our exponent is 1 in the case of 2 plus x. So meron tayong 3 possible answers here for the question number 1. Pwede yung sagot natin is 2 raised to x plus 2 raised to x. Or pwede ding 2 times 2 raised to x. Or 2 times raised to 2 raised x plus 1. So the only answers na makikita natin sa choices is the letter C. Therefore, the answer in number 1 is the letter C. 2 times 2 raised to x. Question number 2. Simplify the expression 2x squared minus 5x minus 12 divided by 2x squared minus 4x minus 16. So again, rewrite lang natin yung expression natin. So we have the numerator. Ito yung numerator natin, and this is our denominator. So paano natin isi-simplify ito? By simplifying this expression, kukunin natin yung roots or factors ng bawat expression na present in our numerator and also in our denominator. Baka merong cancellation na magaganap doon. Okay? So pwede natin i-simplify yung expression ito. So in our numerator, which is 2x squared minus 5x minus 12, it can be factored as 2x plus 3 times x minus 4. So ito yung factor ng ating numerator. In the case of our denominator, 2x squared minus 4x minus 16, yung factors nila is 2x minus 8 times x plus 2. So pwede natin i-rewrite yung numerator and also the denominator. So papalitan natin yung numerator magiging ito yung factors niya kanina, which is 2x plus 3 times x minus 4. Yung denominator naman natin magiging 2x minus 8 times x plus 2. We can now factor further yung 2x minus 8 kasi meron siyang common factor which is 2. So, factor natin further. So, we have copy yung numerator. Yung 2x minus 8 becomes 2 times the quantity of x minus 4. Pareho lang sila. Nilabasan natin yung common factor which is the 2. Then, copy the x plus 2. So, merong cancellation ba na magaganap? Okay, in the cancellation case, kung ano yung parehong term na makikita both numerator and denominator, yun lamang ang makakancel out. So in this case, we have the term x minus 4. So cancel yung x minus 4 na nasa numerator and magka-cancel din yung x minus 4 na nasa denominator. So whatever terms ang maiiwan, ito yung simplified form ng ating expression. Therefore, the answer for this is 2x plus 3 over 2 times x plus 2. And the answer is letter V. Question number 3. Suppose that the function f of x is a quadratic function with roots at x is equal to 2 minus 3i and x is equal to 2 plus 3i. We need to find f of x. By the way, sa mga hindi nakakaalam, we have the presence of imaginary numbers. Okay? So, since meron tayong dalawang system sa mga digits or numbers, we have the real numbers and we have also the complex numbers. Okay? So, yung real numbers na to ay binubuo ng mga positive, negative, or zero numbers or integers. Kasama dito yung rational and irrational numbers. While yung complex number naman natin is binubuo ng imaginary number. So katulad ng imaginary number, we have also the square root of negative 1. Kasi wala namang value yung negative square root, diba? Yung number na negative which is enclosed in square root sign. So tawag sa kanila is imaginary. Okay? So again, I is also the same as square root of negative 1 here. So paano natin gawin yon? So alam natin na pag magfa-factor ng isang quadratic function, we have the function of x minus a times x minus b na kung saan yung roots are as follow. We have your root a and we have root b. So ito yung roots natin kung magfa-factor out tayo ng quadratic function. So alam natin na yung value ng a natin or x is 2 minus 3i, and we have also 2 plus 3i. We need to substitute lang. Okay? Papalitan natin yung a ng 2 minus 3i. Yung b naman, gagawin natin siyang 2 plus 3i. So by substitution, we have our function becomes x minus, ito yung unang root, times x minus, ito naman yung pangalawang root natin. Okay? That is 2 plus 3i. And then we need to simplify yung nasa parentheses. So ito, distribute natin yung negative, ibibigay natin kay 2. So magiging negative 2. Yung negative, ibibigay natin kay negative 3i. We all know that negative times negative is a positive number. So magiging positive 3i na siya. Ganon din yung case ng kabilang root. Yung negative na to ibibigay natin kay 2, so magiging negative 2. Yung negative na to ibibigay natin kay positive 3i, magiging negative 3i. So ito na yung ating bagong function. Now, we will use the distributive property of equality. In short, ibibigay natin yung bawat term ng unang factors natin sa bawat term ng pangalawang factors. Okay? So this is the answer. Paano natin nakuha to? Again, by distributive property of equality, unang ginawa sa x, binigay kay x. So we have x squared. Si x naman binigay kay negative 2, and the answer is negative 2x. Next, si x ibibigay natin kay negative 3i, and the answer is negative x 3i. Next is negative 2 naman, ibibigay natin kay x, magiging negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 2, the answer is positive 4. And negative 2 times negative 3i, the answer is a positive 6i rather. Okay? So meron pa tayong last term, which is the positive 3i. Ibibigay natin din sa bawat term ng second factor. So we have the 3i times x. The answer is positive x 3i. So 3i times negative 2, the answer is negative 6i. And positive 3i times a negative 3i, the answer is negative 9i squared. Kaya nakuha yung ganitong functions natin. Okay? So again, yung gamit natin is distributive property of equality. Ipamimigay lamang natin yung bawat term ng unang factor to each term ng ating second factor to come up with this one. So simplify natin, may iwan sa x squared. Okay, negative 2x minus 2x, the answer is negative 4x. Okay, so combine like terms. Ito naman sa negative x 3i, i-add natin with positive 6 3i, so magka-cancel out, magiging 0 to. Kasi adding inverse numbers, the result is 0. Okay, so negative plus positive is 0. So here, okay, nagamit na natin to. We did add it to negative 2x, so we come up with negative 4x. So si 4 naman na constant, okay, may e1, and we have 6i. Ito, another 6i, which is negative. The answer is 0. So magka-cancel din yung 6i na to, and may e1 yung negative 9i squared. So the remaining term in our function is x squared minus 4x plus 4 minus 9i squared. Okay? So again, take note, pagdating sa intermediate algebra, yung I natin is an imaginary number. Again, I is an imaginary number na merong value na square root of negative 1. Since square root of negative 1, yung ating value ng I, then we need to square that 1, and the answer is negative 1. Okay? So I squared is also the same as negative 1. Pinalitan lang po natin. That is a constant term, ha? Again, I is an imaginary number. I is also equal to square root of negative 1. I squared is equal to negative 1. Okay? Then simplify natin yung negative 9 times negative 1. The answer is positive 9. Then mag-add tayo ng 4. The answer is 13. And therefore, the answer for number 3 is f of x is equal to x squared minus 4x plus 13. Saan nakuha yung 13? Ito. Yung negative 9 times negative 1 is positive 9 plus 4. The answer is negative 13. Okay, question number 4. Solve the inequality for x. Select all that apply. We have the following inequality: 4x cubed plus 10x squared minus 24x is less than 0. So, ibig sabihin, yung left term natin must be equal to negative numbers. Kasi sabi dito, yung left part or left expression ng ating inequality is less than 0. Mababa daw sa 0. So, ano yung mga number na mas mababa sa 0? Those are negative numbers. So, dapat we can come up with a negative numbers here, okay, in our left expression of our inequality to satisfy this inequality. So, we have the following choices. X is less than negative 4. So, in letter A, yung possible value ng x is mababa daw sa negative 4. So, ano yung mga values na mas mababa sa negative 4? We have negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, negative 8, negative 9, and pababa na siya. Okay, until we reach to negative infinity. And letter B, x is equal to negative 4. Letter C naman is x is equal to 0. Yung letter D naman natin is x is greater than 3 halves, or that is mas mataas daw sa 1 and a half or 3 halves. So those are pwedeng 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 until we reach to positive infinity. So how are we going to solve this one? Yung ginawa ko dito, I do a trial and error na kung saan Okay, gagamitin natin lahat ng choices, isa-substitute lang natin para hindi na tayo mahirapan sa pag-factor out ng 4x cubed plus 10x squared minus 24x. Again, I do the trial and error. Substitution lang po. Okay? Let's say for example, in letter A. Sabi dito sa letter A, x is less than negative 4. So, pwede natin sabihin na yung value ng x is negative 5 since negative 5 is less than negative 4. So, lahat ng x na nasa term natin here or nasa inequality natin, gagawin natin siyang negative 5. Okay? So, copy lang na yung inequality. Lahat ng x magiging negative 5. Simplify. Negative 5 cubed is also the same as negative 5 times negative 5 times negative 5. Or the answer is negative 125. Ito naman, negative 5 square is 25. Yung negative 5 times negative 24 is positive 120. Simplify lang natin. Okay, times, the answer is negative 500. Yung 10 times 25 is 250 plus 120. Gamit yung calculator, the answer is negative 130. Is less than 0 pa? Okay, tama. Yung negative 130 ay mababa compared sa 0. So, letter A is one of the correct answers. Okay, tingnan natin yung other options. Proceed tayo sa letter B. Sabi dito yung B natin is equal to, x is equal to negative 4. So, gamit yung inequality, lahat ng x magiging negative 4. Then, substitute natin, or simplify natin yung exponent. So, negative 4 cubed is negative 64. Yung negative 4 squared is positive 16. Negative 4 times negative 24 is positive 96. Simplify lang. 4 times negative 64 is negative 256. The product of this is 160, then add by 96. Using calculator, the answer is 0. So is 0 ba less than 0? No, they are not. 0 is equal to 0. So mali na po yung option letter B. So eliminated na po si option letter B. Proceed tayo sa option letter C, na kung saan yung x natin is equal to 0. So ibig sabihin lahat ng x dito gagawin nating 0. Okay, so 0 raised to any number is equal to 0. Okay, then multiplied to any number is also equal to 0. So 0 ba is less than 0? No. So therefore, C is not the possible answer for this item. So mali na yung letter C. Proceed tayo sa last option, which is x is greater than 3 halves or 1 and a half. So let's say gagamit tayo ng x which is equal to 2. Okay, it should be equal to 2. So lahat ng x magiging 2. So we have 2 cubed is equal to 8. 2 squared is 4. 2 times negative 24 is negative 48. Then multiply. Then add and subtract. The answer is 24. Is 24 ba less than 0? No. Mas mataas yung 24 compared to 0. Therefore, letter D is not a possible answer. So the only answer na meron tayo that satisfy the inequality is only letter A, where x is less than negative 4. Number 5. A baseball is thrown up in the air from an initial height of 6 feet. Its height above the ground in feet t seconds after being thrown is given by the function h of t is equal to negative 16t squared plus 46t plus 6. So, how long will it take in seconds for the baseball to hit the ground? So, here, may kinalaman dito yung physics. Okay, so sabi dito, yung baseball daw, itinapon pa itaas, okay, na merong taas na 6 feet. Okay, and its height above the ground is t seconds. In t seconds after being thrown is ito, given by this function. So ito yung equation ng taas, okay, ng ground with respect to the baseball nung itinapon natin pa itaas, okay, with respect to the time, which is t seconds. So the question is, ilang oras, ilang segundo bago tumama sa ground yung baseball? Okay? So here, ito yung function natin. H of t is equal to negative 16t squared plus 46t plus 6. At yung h of t natin is equal to 0. Bakit naging equal to 0? Kasi ito na yung taas nung tumama yung baseball sa ground. Okay, so wala na siyang taas. So 0 na yung h of t natin is when baseball hit the ground. Okay, so substitution. Papalitan natin yung h of t ng 0. So magiging 0 is equal to negative 16t squared plus 46t plus 6 na yung ating function. Okay? Then, ilipat natin, or as is na lang siguro. Then, we will factor. Okay? Gamit yung common factor. So, meron silang common factor na negative 2. So, we have negative 2 times the quantity of 8t squared minus 23t minus 3 is equal to 0. So, saan nakuha yung negative 2? This is the common factor of this expression. Okay? Since negative 2 times 8t squared is negative 16t squared, yung negative 2 times negative 23 is positive 46t. Yung negative 2 naman times negative 3 is positive 6. So, pareho lang sila. Okay? So, kinuha natin yung common factor which is negative 2. Then, divide both sides by negative 2 and the answer is, ito na lang yung may iwan. We have 8t squared minus 23t and minus 3 is equal to 0. By factoring, yung factor ng 8t squared minus 23t minus 3 is equal to, ito siya, 8t plus 1 times a t minus 3. So, ito yung factors ng ating expression or quadratic expression which is equal to 0. So, to find the roots of this function, so hahatiin natin sa dalawa. We have first the 80 plus 1 is equal to 0. Ito yung unang term, or unang factor, or unang roots, or unang sagot ng value ng t natin. And the second answer is t minus 3 is equal to 0. Okay? So, para makuha yung t na to, sa first factors natin, yung positive 1, ililipat natin sa kabila, magiging negative. Yung negative 3 na ito, ililipat sa kabila, magiging positive 3. Okay, so we have new equations which is 80 is equal to negative 1. At yung isa naman is t is equal to 3. So meron na tayong unang sagot which is t is equal to 3. Okay, so let's find the t here. So meron tayong 8. We need to divide both sides by 8. So divide by 8, the answer is t is equal to negative 1 over 8. So the roots of this function is negative 1, 8, and 3. Take note, pag pinag-usapan natin is oras, we will neglect the negative answers. So, ibig sabihin, the only answers na meron tayo is t is equal to 3. Therefore, it takes 3 seconds for the baseball to hit the ground. Okay? Na merong taas na 6 feet. So, 3 seconds yung itatagal ng baseball bago makatama sa ground. Number 6. Solve the equation for x. Select all the that apply. So we have the log of 8x minus x squared to the base 2 is equal to 4. So here naman, meron tayong logarithmic function. So how are we going to solve for the logarithmic function? Medyo tricky yung part nito. Okay? So in order to solve for the logarithmic function, kailangan nating malaman kung ano yung equivalent niya into exponential function. So take note that in a raised to b is equal to c, it is also equivalent to log of c to the base a is equal to c. So ito lang yung tandaan nyo. Okay? Ito lang yung tandaan yung form para ilipat yung exponential to logarithmic or vice versa. Kung given yung exponential at gagawin natin logarithmic, yung a raised to b is equal to c can be written as log of c to the base a is equal to b. Kung given naman yung logarithmic, log of c to the base a is equal to b, pag ginawa natin siyang exponential notation, magiging a raised to b is equal to c siya. Okay? Again, remember these equations or formula when transforming exponential to logarithmic or vice versa. Balikan natin yung problem. So, yung given natin is a log of 8x minus x squared to the base 2 is equal to 4. So, again, yung a natin dito is 2. Yung c natin is 8x minus x squared, and yung b natin is 4. So, para ma-solve natin yung value ng x, gagawin natin siya into exponential notation. Okay? Gagawin natin siyang ganito. So, yung a natin, magiging base na siya. So, in our logarithmic, our a is 2. So, in exponential, ito na yung magiging a natin, which is 2. Okay? And exponent naman sa exponential term is yung b ng logarithmic. So, ito, magiging exponent. And, ito naman yung 8x minus x squared ng logarithmic, magiging c na ng ating exponential. So, thus, log of 8x minus x squared to the base 2 is equal to 4 is also the same as 2 raised to 4 is equal to 8x minus x squared. So, medyo madali na siya i-compare sa log natin, right? Okay, we will need to simplify. So 2 raised to 4 is also the same as 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Yeah, you need to multiply 4 times yung 2 sa kanyang sarili. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, and the answer is 16. Okay? Simplest niya, ito na siya, 2 raised to 4 is equal to 16. Copy yung 8x minus x squared. Ililipat natin si 16 sa kabila. Positive siya, magiging negative na, okay. So, hindi pala siya nilipat dito. So, what I did here is, ito, yung negative x squared, nilipat sa kabila, magiging positive na siya. Yung 8x na positive, nilipat sa kabila, magiging negative na siya. So, we have the reformed equation na, which is x squared minus 8x plus 16 is equal to 0. So, exponential or quadratic function na siya. Okay? So, quadratic equation na siya. We can now solve this value of x gamit yung factoring. Okay? So, by factoring, yung factor ng x squared minus 8x plus 16 is equal to x minus 4 times x minus 4. Pareho lang siya. Okay? Therefore, the only roots na meron tayo sa ating equation na to is x minus 4 is equal to 0. To find the value of x, the negative 4, ililipat sa kabila magiging positive. Thus, the only answer for number 6 is letter C. X is equal to 4. So, yung value ng x is equal to 4. Number 7, calculate the average rate of change of f between x is equal to 1 and x is equal to 4, wherein our function is given by f of x is equal to x cubed plus 3x plus 1. These are the following options. A is equal to 6, B is equal to 20/3, C is equal to 24, or D is equal to 72. So, paano natin kukunin yung average rate of change? Ibig sabihin, meron tayong pagbabago. Pag sinabi nating average, we are looking for the sum of all total numbers divided by the total numbers, right? Okay? Kung kukuha tayo ng average, i-add natin lahat ng values that i-divide natin by the number of that values. Okay? So, ganun din yung concept ng average rate of change of f here. Okay, na kung saan, yung minimum interval is x, yung pinaka-maximum na interval is 4. So, para din siyang integral. Okay? Medyo pinadali ng konti here. So, our function again is x cubed plus 3x plus 1, where x is equal to 1 and x is equal to 4. Take note that to find the average rate of change, kukunin natin yung quotient of the difference of f of b and f of a, and we have also the difference of b and a. Okay, so f of b minus f of a over b of a. Na kung saan yung b natin here is the value of your x na pinakamataas. Okay, in this case, we have 4. At yung a naman natin is the value of your minimum interval, which is your 1. Okay, so we have here, sa una, sa b natin, f of b, lahat ng x ng ating function magiging 4. Okay? Kaya naging 4 cubed plus 3 times 4 plus 1. So, this is your f of b minus your f of a. Na kung saan yung x naman natin, gagawin natin 1. Lahat ng x na nasa function natin, gagawin natin 1. Therefore, f of a is equal to 1 cubed plus 3 times 1 plus 1 over, okay, this is your b, which is 4, minus the minimum interval, which is 1. Then simplified, 4 cubed is 4 times 4 times 4. That is 64 plus 12 plus 1. The answer is 77. Minus 1 cubed is 1 plus 3 plus 1. That is 5. Then over 4 minus 1, which is 3. Let's subtract. 77 minus 5 is 72. Divide by 3, the answer is 24. Thus, in number 7, the average rate of change of f between x is equal to 1 and x is equal to 4 is 24. And the answer is letter C. Number 8, simplify the expression x cubed minus 3x squared plus 2x minus 6 divided by x squared minus 9. Okay? So here, katulad ng question number 1, I think, we need to simplify the expression. Okay, so rewrite lang natin yung expression kung saan yung numerator natin is x cubed minus 3x squared plus 2x minus 6, and our denominator is x squared minus 9. So, i-factor out muna natin yung numerator and also the denominator para mas madaling i-simplify yung expression nito. So, paano? So in our numerator, which is x cubed minus 3x squared plus 2x minus 6, the factors are x squared times x minus 3 plus 2 times x minus 3. So here, the factor of this is this one. Ito naman yung factor nito is this one. And we can factor this further. That is x squared plus 2 times x minus 3. So ito yung factor ng ating numerator. And in our denominator naman, yung x squared minus 9, the only factors of that expression is x minus 3 times x plus 3. Okay? So, papalitan natin. Yung numerator, again, magiging x squared plus 2 times x minus 3. And the denominator becomes x plus 2 times x minus 3. So, meron tayong cancellation na magaganap. That is in the case of x minus 3. Kasi both parts of this function nakita yung presence of x minus 3. So, canceling x minus 3, cancel yung x minus 3. At yung maiiwan is x squared plus 2 over x plus 3. The answer for item number 8 is the letter D. Suppose that angle question mark is in quadrant 1 and cosine question mark is equal to 12 over 13. We need to find the tangent question mark. So these are the following options. Okay, A is equal to 1/13, B is 13, C is 5/12, or letter D 12 over 5. So paano natin isi-solve to? So ito, may kinalaman na yung trigonometric functions and also the unit circle. Okay? So our given in this item number 9 is quadrant 1 daw. Okay? So recall that in a Cartesian coordinate plane, nahati siya into 4 quadrants. Okay? Quadrant 1 na binubuo ng positive x-axis and also the positive y value, or that is positive abscissa and positive ordinate. Yung quadrant 2 naman natin ay binubuo ng negative abscissa and positive ordinate. Quadrant 3, binubuo ng both negative abscissa and ordinate. While yung quadrant number 4 naman natin ay binubuo ng negative y value and positive x value naman. Okay? Since yung angle natin is in quadrant 1, ibig sabihin yung value natin is positive yung x natin, and also we have positive value of your y. Since in our options, lahat is positive, so they are probable answers for this item. Okay? So maliban sa quadrant 1, we have also cosine theta or cosine angle, which is equal to 12 over 13. Yung value daw ng cosine question mark is equal to 12 over 13. Kailangan natin hanapin yung tangent question mark. So recall in trigonometric function, yung term nito, we have the SOHCAHTOA. So stands for sine, which is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. Yung CAH naman stands for cosine, which is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. TOA stands for tangent, is equal to opposite over adjacent. So here, meron naman tayong tatlong sides, okay? And these are your adjacent, hypotenuse, and your opposite side. Since we have the presence of hypotenuse, makikita lamang natin yung hypotenuse side in a right-angled triangle. That means, in our triangle, meron tayong right angle. And recall that our cosine question mark is equal to 12 over 13. Sabi natin yung cosine is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. Ibig sabihin yung adjacent natin is equal to 12, while our hypotenuse is equal to 13. In a right angle triangle, if this is our angle question mark, then this is your hypotenuse. Recall that yung pinakamalaking side ng ating right angle triangle ay tinatawag nating hypotenuse. Okay? Since this is our reference angle, yung katabing side niya is tinatawag nating adjacent side. At yung side which is opposite to your angle is known as the opposite side, of course. Okay? Yun yung hahanapin natin para mahanap din natin yung value ng tangent. Now, the question is, paano natin kukunin yan? Since this is a right angle triangle, gagamit tayo ng Pythagorean theorem. Recall also that Pythagorean theorem states that the square of your hypotenuse is equal to the square of the sum of your two legs. That means, c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. Kung saan yung c natin dito is the hypotenuse or the longest side, while a and b naman natin are the two legs natin. Okay? So to find the opposite, ito yung gagamitin natin. Alam natin na yung c natin or the hypotenuse is equal to 13. So palitan natin ng 13. Yung a natin, let a be our adjacent side. And alam naman natin na yung value ng adjacent is equal to 12. At yung b naman natin is the opposite side. Ito yung hinahanap natin. Okay, so we have 13 squared is equal to 12 squared plus b squared. And simplify natin. 13 squared is also the same as 13 times 13, or that is 169. 12 squared is equal to 144, and we have the b squared. Okay? So, para mahanap yung value ng b squared, yung 144 na to, ilipat natin sa kabilang side, kasama ni 169. And that is 169 minus 144 equals 25. That means, the value of your b squared is equal to 25. Hindi pa ito yung value ng b alone, or the opposite